My name is Jason Dunning. I'm one of the co-founders and principal consultant for innovation at DWF Consulting. Innovation is all about doing things differently, and improvement is all about doing things better. Taking what you do now and making those slight iterative changes, those improvements to make things more efficient, cost-effective, mitigating risk, all those good things that we need. But innovation actually is around doing things differently, and the approach, the method is completely different to the traditional and conventional methods of improvement. And we've come from that world, and we realise that that is very different. And that's the area that I'm looking to share with you today. Today's session is about the strategic role of creativity. We talk about being creative and being innovative, but actually there's a series of mental blocks that stop us thinking that way. So I'm going to talk about a couple of those. So I'm going to very carefully drop the next part in, which is playfulness. And people see playfulness as being childish thinking, you know, but I don't want to see it as childish thinking. I want to use playfulness as being childlike thinking, not childish thinking. We need to learn from how children think and how they adopt playfulness to develop new concepts and techniques. We've spoken a lot about innovation, and from the experiences that we've had, I would say I'm still to walk into an organisation today and ask that person sat around the table, what does innovation mean to you? And then I can guarantee whatever answer I get back will be completely different to the person next to them. We need to seriously get to grips with creativity because it drives our innovation process. So what we do is fundamentally just put two simple definitions around these words. Creativity to us is nothing but the generation of a novel and a useful idea. We generate useful ideas daily, or at least we should. That is continuous improvement. A useful idea is something that I can do something with. It's a new way forward. It's a way forward. The novelty element of it is we're rubbish at, because generation of novelty, I never thought of that before. That's the novelty bit, and that's the bit that we're after. That's the creative element. Innovation then is just simply making money or adding value out of those creative ideas. Innovation to us is the impact that we see in the market on the customers, on the clients, on your own staff. That is the killer bit. That's the macho word that everyone's chasing, but they don't chase it through creativity, of which they should do. So what we need to do is get to grips with creativity, understand it, adopt it to drive the innovation process. Sounds easy. However, there are a series of mental blocks that stop us thinking that way. Second stage thinking is nothing more than taking information, processing that information with a view to producing an outcome. And we do that process very, very quickly. Your left-hand side of your brain lights up because that's the bit that is responsible for logic. And you're looking instantly to produce a way forward. This is what we need to do. This is the action. This is what needs to be put in place. And we're hugely conditioned, and we neglect the first stage thinking because we're hugely conditioned to this way of thinking. The right-hand side, however, is responsible for novelty. That's the bit that we want to tap into, where it's new. That's where creativity and pictures lie, things like that. However, it's horribly, horribly slow. It's painfully slow. And what happens is useful, the left-hand side of the brain, gets bored of waiting and kills novelty. It just gets bored and jumps in to solve the problem. That's what we do. So what we need to do from time to time is turn that hand side of the brain off. We do that through the techniques. Give the right-hand side time to breathe, time to think of something novel, and then we do what we're good at and adapt the left. Playfulness is really important, but we use this in a serious context, not frivolous in any way. What we need to do is tap into this imagination, and there's a word there, sounds a bit fancy, called the intermediate impossible. Simply, the intermediate impossible is nothing other than the generation of something novel and useless. Okay, that is the first stage of creativity. Because what you need to do, once you've generated something that's novel and useless, is turn the left-hand side of your brain on and adapt to useful. There's a study done called the Robbins Report, which tried to measure creativity levels within human beings. And they wanted to see if there was a particular demographic or a particular age of people that were actually more creative than the next. And what they actually found was 98% of 4-year-olds were genius-level creatives. Not good, genius level. And what happens, they furthered the study, and around, I think, the age of 11, that dropped to about 35%, and then around the age of 17, about 5% genius-level creatives. And then we probably recruit somewhere in the region of that, maybe their early 20s when they come out fresh of university, with less than 5% creativity level. Genius level creativity. And all they were measuring was this generation of the intermediate impossible. Generation of how can I come up with something new but useless and then adapt it to useful. And that's what we'll do through the techniques today.